Hi, I'm Matt from SpeakPrac, and I recently did the official IELTS test where I scored a band 9 in speaking. So everything I'm about to share is battle tested and fresh from the exam room. This video is part of the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course, and here we're going to be talking all about IELTS Speaking Part 3. You'll learn what it is, how it works, and the structure and time limit. Plus, I'll share with you an answer template that works for almost any kind of topic or question that you're thrown for Part 3. By the end of this video, you'll be able to tackle Part 3 without the stress or confusion. Remember, this video is just one piece of the full course, the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course. You can check out all the lessons and other resources at speakprac.com/IELTS Speaking course. The big picture. What is Part 3 anyway? So first things first, what exactly is happening in IELTS Speaking Part 3? I want you to think of the speaking test like a 3-course meal. Part 1 is the appetizer. It's light, friendly, and personal. The examiner asks you simple questions about yourself, your work, your hobbies. It's a warm-up. Part 2 is the main course. This is your moment to shine, your solo performance. You get a topic and you speak for 1 to 2 minutes. It's about you and your ability to sustain a long term. Part 3 is the dessert and the coffee. Part 3 is the deep, rich conversation. It's no longer just about you. It's about ideas, concepts, and society. It's a discussion, a friendly debate between you and the examiner. The questions in IELTS Speaking Part 3 will be thematically linked to your Part 2 topic, but they'll be much more abstract and general. So, if your Part 2 was about a teacher you admire, Part 3 won't be about your teacher. It will be about education in general, the role of teachers in society, or the future of your learning. This part of the test lasts for about 4 to 5 minutes, which is roughly the same as Part 1. The examiner's goal here is to see the full range of your English speaking ability. They will push you, they will challenge you, and they will ask you difficult questions to see how you handle them. And that's a good thing because it gives you a chance to show off your best language skills. The 3 traps that cost students points. Now, before we get to the solutions, we need to understand the common pitfalls. I see students fall into the same 3 traps over and over again. Trap 1, the one-liner answer. In Part 1, a 2 or 3 sentence answer is perfect. But in Part 3, giving a short, simple answer is a huge red flag. If the examiner asks, why do you think art is important in schools? And you just say, because it helps students be more creative, and then you stop, you're not giving the examiner enough to score you highly. You need to elaborate. Trap 2. The keyword panic. This is when you hear 1 or 2 key words in the question. You then panic and you just start talking about that word without actually answering the specific question you were asked. For example, the examiner asks, to what extent has technology impacted the way people socialize in your country? The student hears technology and socialize, and just starts listing different social media apps, thinking that the question is all about social media. They never actually answer the to what extent part of the question. You really have to listen to the entire question carefully. Trap 3, the get me out of here rush. I know, the speaking test is stressful. By the time you reach the end of IELTS Speaking Part 3, your brain is fried. and you just want it to be over. So a natural reaction is to start speaking really fast, giving short answers, hoping the examiner will just let you go. But the examiner has a job to do. If you give short answers, they'll just keep asking you more and more questions to fill the time. You need to finish strong. And that's why I'm going to give you this gift. The IDEA framework, your blueprint for perfect answers. Okay, so we know the traps. How do we avoid them and give those long, well-developed, impressive answers that examiners love to hear? The answer is actually simple. When the examiner asks for your thoughts, you need to give them a great idea. And I mean that literally. We're going to use the IDEA framework. This is a powerful 4-step framework that will be your blueprint for crafting the perfect answer every single time. It's your secret IELTS Speaking Part 3 template. And here's what it stands for. Idea. State your main idea or point. This is your direct answer. D. Develop. Develop your idea. Explain why you think that. And go deeper. E. Example. Provide a specific example to make your idea tangible and real. A. Alternative. Acknowledge an alternative viewpoint or a concession. Now, this idea structure ensures your answer is logical, detailed, and balanced. All the key ingredients for a high band score. Let's see it in action. Imagine the examiner asks you, do you think modern technology makes people more or less lonely? Instead of panicking, let's just give them an idea. Idea. That's an interesting question. In my opinion, while it has its benefits, I believe modern technology, especially social media, has ironically made many people feel more lonely. D. Develop. To develop that idea, what I mean is that we're often substituting deep, meaningful connections with shallow digital ones. We might have hundreds of friends online, but these interactions lack the genuine emotional depth of a face-to-face conversation. It creates an illusion of connection without the real substance. E. Example. For instance, you often see a group of teenagers sitting together at a cafe, but instead of talking to each other, they're all silently scrolling through their phones. They're physically together, but mentally, they're in completely different worlds, isolated by their screens. This is a perfect example of that modern loneliness. A. Alternative. Of course, there is an alternative way to look at this. I have to admit that for some people, like the elderly or those living in remote areas, technology can be a vital lifeline. For them, it can help them connect with family they wouldn't otherwise see, which definitely reduces feelings of isolation. You see how powerful that is? In just 4 steps following the SpeakPrac I.D.E.A. framework, the IDEA framework, you've created a comprehensive, well-supported Band 7 plus answer. It flows logically from a single point into a fully formed discussion. The best part about a framework like IDEA is that it provides a simple truth. You don't need to be a genius to have a deep conversation. You just need a way to organize your thoughts. Because it's not about having perfect knowledge. It's about having the confidence to share your ideas. And as I always say, I believe that anyone can speak English, including you. Pro tips and mindset for success. Having the IDEA framework certainly is a game changer, but let's cover a few final tips to make sure you're fully prepared for the IELTS Speaking Part 3. 1. Embrace the difficult questions. If the examiner asks you a really hard question, don't panic. It's a good sign. It means they think you're a high-level candidate and they're giving you a chance to prove it. See it as an opportunity, not a threat. 2, use your lifelines. You are allowed to ask for help. You have 2 lifelines. You can say, could you please repeat the question? You can also say, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the word, and then you say the word. Could you explain what that means? Using these doesn't lose you points. In fact, it's much better than guessing and answering the wrong question. Trust me, you don't want to pretend you know what you're talking about when in reality you don't. So you can ask for these clarifications. 3, build your speaking stamina. Speaking non-stop in a foreign language for 15 minutes is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you need to train for it. Practice having long conversations in English. Get a friend to ask you Part 3 style questions for 10 to 15 minutes straight, so that on test day, your brain is ready for the workout. Or if you don't have someone that you can talk to, be sure to try voice recording apps and even the app that I developed, SpeakPrac, so that you can use it to guide you through the Part 3 questions. And hey, if you're serious about IELTS speaking, don't stop here. The full free course is at speakprac.com/IELTS Speaking course. There you'll find all the lessons and all the resources you need to succeed. So you're now equipped with a strategy and the mindset to go into IELTS Speaking Part 3 with confidence. You know the time limit, the structure, and you even have an answer template to help you. All of these things helped me become an IELTS Band 9 speaker myself. But what if you could go one step further? What if you knew the kinds of topics or questions that the examiner would ask you for Part 3? Here's the thing, IELTS Speaking Part 3 questions aren't as random as you think. There are patterns and recurring themes and categories that come up again and again. So in my next video, I'll actually go through some of the most common IELTS Speaking Part 3 topics and questions. I'll show you themes that examiners love to explore, and I'll even provide some examples to recent questions so you can provide targeted answers that will surely impress. You won't want to miss that video.